Have you ever scrolled through social media and felt like you just weren't good enough? Or been comparing your regular everyday life to someone else's curated highlight reel? Those sorts of things, they'll chip away at your confidence if you don't watch it. Social media can feel harmless for a little bit, but it quietly digs away at your confidence, your self-worth, your sense of identity. And so today we're talking about why and how social media quietly destroys your confidence. It's one of those things where we know social media isn't always good for us, but we don't change anything about the way we act. I'm not trying to say let's get completely off social media. I'm just saying let's talk about this so we know how to deal with this moving forward. Hey, welcome to Growing Up Kingdom. My name's Daniel, and I'm so excited you're here. If you've been looking for a place where you feel like you can be encouraged, where you feel like you can grow in your confidence, this right here is an absolutely great place to do that. So make sure you stick around. Subscribe, follow, do whatever you can on the platform you're listening, because if this is the sort of content you're looking for, there's just going to be more of it every single week. We've all been there before, scrolling through social media, thinking, hey, that's going to make us feel better, only to realize after we're done scrolling for an hour, 2 hours, only to realize that we actually feel worse. It feels like it's one of those things where, when we start scrolling, it feels good for a little bit, and I get the science behind it, right? It releases certain chemicals in your brain, but it doesn't always stay like that. For me, at least, I'll be scrolling, it feels good, it feels good, it feels good, but by the time I'm done, I don't feel so good. I don't feel great anymore. And I don't think I'm the only one like that. It's something we've all experienced before. It's because social media, as much as we love it, as much as it's a tool, as much as we can use it, as much as it brings us a little bit of happiness for a while, it chips away at our confidence. It messes with our self-esteem. And again, like I said in the intro, the goal isn't to just cut it out completely and be like, nope, not doing any of that. Some people, they want to do that. Hey, I got nothing against you. If that's how you want to do it, you can do it like that. But I'm just saying, let's learn how to understand the way social media makes us feel so we can navigate it in a clever way. So we're going to talk about why and how social media affects our confidence and what the Bible says about our true value. I want to always tie back to some sense of truth that's removed from our modern culture. Not saying the Bible isn't relevant, but I'm saying that it's been around so much longer than our Americanized, social media indoctrinated culture that it's nice to look back at that and be like, you know what, that's how it should be. So that's what we're going to do here. We're going to start with comparison. That's the biggest thing. Social media, when you think about it and how it makes you feel, one of the first things that comes to mind is comparison. Why? Because we do a lot of comparing on social media. It's just the way it is. The first thing that comes to mind when I think about comparison, though, is Galatians chapter 1, verse 10. It says, "For am I now seeking the approval of man or of God? Or am I trying to please man? If I were still trying to please man, I would not be a servant of Christ." So the first part of this is pretty interesting. He's going back and forth. For am I now seeking the approval of men or of God? It goes right back in, or am I still trying to please man? Social media is a highlight reel and it's not reality. A lot of what social media is, it's an attempt to please man. It's an attempt to please the people around us, to make us look good in their eyes, to make us look smart, to make us look wealthy, to make us look intelligent, to make us look pretty, to make us look handsome. That's what it's there for. That's what we use it for. And so comparing yourself, your everyday life to someone else's curated feeds, it steals your confidence in God's plan and purpose for you. Now, back to the end of this verse, if I were still trying to please man, I would not be a servant of Christ. Now, for me personally, I count myself as a servant of Christ. I'm here living the way Jesus said to live. I'm trying to point other people back to him. Now, I know a lot of people, you guys are going to be like, click, I'm done, I'm good. I'm not saying, hey, you got to do that right now. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying for me, that's where I'm at. And it's hard to do that, jumping back and forth, trying to please people and then trying to please Christ and then going back and forth. Sometimes it gets really hard. It gets really difficult. You got to pick one or the other. And for us, a lot of us, I'm not making any point at your religious beliefs right now. That's not what I want to do. I don't want to make anyone feel like they're alienated. If you were to ask me what do I believe, I'll tell you full straight up. But what I am saying is so many of us, we're stuck still on trying to please people. We're stuck trying to please a certain amount of followers that we've got. We've got a couple people in the back of our mind. We're like, man, I hope they see this post. And you were thinking about like, what are they going to think when they see this? Hopefully they're going to think well of me. That's what goes on in our mind sometimes when we're posting things, when we're on social media. So social media is a highlight reel. It's not reality. We know that. We need to remind ourselves of that though, because sometimes we forget, if we're being really, really honest. Sometimes we forget. And we look at other people's awesome lives and we're like, why is my life like not like that? It's because that's their like the best of the best pictures. We've all seen it before where I've seen girls take a picture and then they spend forever just touching it up here, doing this, doing that, doing that. And then those are the pictures we look and we're like, why is my life like not like that? Because it took them forever to create it. That's not even their life. That's the best of the best that they're making even better. And that's what they're showing us. So I want you to think about it. What are some good ways to deal with this? That's what I want to give us in between here. How about we take some intentional breaks next time we're scrolling? We limit how much we're scrolling. Take some time, set a timer. I know it goes back, it feels like when we were little kids, right? Like our parents gave us a certain amount of time to do something. But what if we need to do that to stop ourselves from going down this rabbit hole of scrolling forever and comparing ourselves? And I want you to ask yourself, who am I trying to impress? Who are you trying to impress when you post those pictures? Who are you trying to impress when you, when you record that video? Who are you trying to impress? The other thing social media can so easily affect is our self-image and our identity. Now, it's going to sound a lot like comparison, but hang on because it's a little bit different. We have to get in our minds that our value isn't measured by likes or by comments or amounts of followers. Sometimes it feels like it is. Sometimes we look at things and we look at how many followers we have, how many subscribers, how many people liked our posts, and that begins to affect what we think about ourselves. We look at people's posts, right? And we start wondering. I'm not the only one who wonders, like, why don't I have what they have? Why don't I drive the cars they drive? Why don't I have the amount of friends that they do? And it's comparison, yes, but it also starts messing with your self-image. You look in the mirror and you're like, man, why can't I look like that? Why don't I look like that? Why do they look so confident smiling in the mirror and I don't? We find ourselves thinking these things. And it starts affecting our self-esteem, starts affecting how we feel about ourselves. And we forget, remember, this is something that's a picture they took. They spent time making themselves look good, however good they wanted themselves to look. Spent time adjusting this, adjusting that, and then they posted it. And we're looking at ourselves in the mirror when we get up in the morning. We're like, why don't I look that good? Because that's their perfect life that they're portraying compared to our life right now, the way we're living. And sometimes we scroll, right? And we scroll and we scroll and we scroll and we see all these perfect pictures of different people. And they look so good and they look so happy and they look so smart and they look so wealthy. And we're like, that's not me. And we start wanting to be like that. We start striving for that. But it gets unhealthy. Psalm 139 verse 14 says, I praise you for I am fearfully and wonderfully made. Wonderful are your works. My soul knows it very well. So this guy here, he's talking about, how he's created here. And I think we need to remind ourselves of this because sometimes we don't feel like we're fearfully and wonderfully made. Sometimes we don't feel like a wonderful work. Sometimes we feel like a piece of garbage, honestly. We wake up, we look in the mirror and we're like, man, I don't feel wonderfully made today. But I really do believe that God loves you. He has a plan for you. He has a purpose for you. He made you the way he made you for a reason. He made you unique. God made you unique, and his opinion matters way more than anyone else's opinion could ever matter. Way more than your friends' opinions could, your family members' opinions could, more than your teachers' opinions could, more than your random TikTok followers' opinions could. He made you that way for a reason. That mole, that crooked smile, that offset eyebrow. He made you like that for a reason. Why exactly? I don't know. I couldn't tell you. Sometimes I look at myself and I'm like, I wonder why that's there. I wonder why why that ended up looking like that. I don't know, but I do believe that God made me like that for a reason. And I'm not going to go look at it and be like, man, I look absolutely horrible. If God looked at me and said, man, that's my perfect work right there. If God says I was fearfully and wonderfully made, I'm going to accept that. And we need to remind ourselves of that. I want to remind you, God has a plan for you. He's got a purpose for you. He created you the way he wanted you for a reason. If he wanted you any other way, he would have made you some other way. And not to say like, God didn't want you to look absolutely great. But what if we're comparing our standards wrong? What if our standard of beauty is like these Instagram models with their millions of followers when the majority of us could never look like that? We forget that sometimes. We forget that's how the world works. That's how social media operates. So think about it. What are some things that you know God would love about you? Now, for some of you, it might take a little bit of a stretch. Think about it. Like, really, if there really was a creator in heaven who created you and loves you, what would he love about you? Your easy, crooked smile, your generous personality. Think about it. Let's talk about, before we land the plane here, let's talk about social media and anxiety. It feels like it goes hand in hand these days. It feels like they just like come together like a bulk pack from Costco. Social media and anxiety. Sometimes we start scrolling to try to ease our anxiety. We feel a certain way. I'm going to start scrolling. We feel better for a little bit. And like I said earlier, all of a sudden we realize, I don't feel so good. I don't feel as good as I thought I would. Seeing everyone else's life can trigger some sort of self-doubt, some sort of fear of missing out, if we're being honest, some sort of FOMO. We're comparing ourselves, though. Think about it. Going right back to the comparison again. We're getting this FOMO, this fear of missing out, when we see the pictures our friends posted and it seems like everyone was invited except for us. We look at the cars everyone else is driving and we're like, man, think about it. It gets in our brains sometimes. We're like, why don't I have that car? Why don't I get to go on those constant vacations? Why don't I get invited to those places? Why don't I get to hang out with those friends? Why don't I have so many friends? Why do my friends stink and their friends are so good? That gets in our minds and it affects us and we feel like we're missing out on something. We look at their vacation to New York and we're like, man, I'm missing out on that. We look at their 30 friends and we're like, man, I'm missing out on that. We look at their shiny new car and we're like, man, I'm missing out on that. But again, the reality is, for some people, that is their life. But for a lot of them, it's not always like that. Think about it. Think about it in your own life. When you post pictures, it's one of those rare times when you got all your friends together and that's when you post a picture with all of your friends. You don't post your pictures, well, a lot of us don't post our pictures, when we're tired and it's way past time to be in bed, but we're still up because we got a lot of schoolwork to still finish and we're trying to get our degree, or we're still just getting late at work. That's not usually when we post things because that doesn't look so good. I know a guy who has this really, really incredible Instagram. Looks absolutely awesome. The cars he drives, incredible. The food he eats, spectacular. See him in real life though, he drives a completely different car, eats completely different things. It's a facade and we need to get used to that. We're comparing someone else's perfect life to our everyday regular life and that starts chipping away at our confidence. And we feel like we're always missing out on something when the reality is they're just trying to make you think they're happy. They're just trying to make you think they're wealthy. They're just trying to make you think they've got it all together when sometimes they don't. So how do we reclaim our confidence from social media? Couple practical steps here. Let's limit some exposure. Let's stop scrolling as long. Turn off your notifications so you're not looking back at your phone every time someone likes something. You can unfollow accounts that make you feel bad, that make you feel like you're behind. Unfollow accounts that make you want to do things that you know you shouldn't do. You can focus on real life relationships. So many parasocial relationships these days. Like we follow people, we don't really know them though. Who are the people you could really call up right now and they'd answer the phone? Who are the people you could text and they'd text back in less than a day? So start spending time there. Invest in friendships that build you up and they don't tear you down. And anchor your identity in Christ. Remind yourself that you're lovable, that you're valuable. Christ died for you for a reason. Not because you're a piece of garbage, not because he saw you as a piece of garbage, but because he saw you as valuable, because he loved you. Sometimes we feel like, man, there's no one in my corner. If Jesus would literally die for you and be raised again because he sees that you're valuable and because he loves you, I mean, that means someone's in your corner and someone's got your back. So I want you to think about this. When's the last time you felt like you were comparing yourself online? How did that make you feel? Probably not great. Now I want you to think, what's one thing you can do this week to protect yourself, protect your confidence from social media? Is it limiting your time scrolling, turning off your notifications? I don't know what that looks like for you. But again, the goal is not to cut it out completely if we don't want to. It's just how do we handle it? How do we work through it? So yeah, those are my thoughts on this. I hope you've enjoyed the episode. If you have, make sure you like, subscribe, follow, do whatever you can on the platform you're listening. Make sure you stick around. Share it with a friend. If you think this could help a friend, share it to them. It makes no sense just to consume information for ourselves, to consume content, and then not share it with someone else if we think they could benefit from it. But yeah, thanks for watching this episode. If you've gotten anything else out of it, do everything I already asked you to do. Share it with a friend if you think they need to hear it. Like, subscribe, follow. You know the drill. Yeah, I'll see you in the next episode. Bye. Love you.